In this exercise, we'll convert a drawing of a Class 2 sheet metal part to a solid model. The Class 2 part has two major extrusions. The more complicated portion can be created by extruding the complex profile, blending the bottom edges, and then shelling the part. The small L-shaped portion can be created with a simple extrude. Prior to starting, we'll remove the checks from these two options in Tools, Options, Solids, as we did in previous 2D to 3D exercises. Then we'll create horizontal lines to measure the distance between the top and front view edges. We'll then create a vertical line at the right end of the top view and another line a distance of D to the right of it. We'll switch to view 7 and using the X-Form dynamic tool to reposition the right view and rotate it around and down so it lines up with the top view. Then we'll use the X-Form dynamic tool to also rotate the front view down so it lines up with the top view. Using the between two options position, we'll extrude the complex profile in the front view between these 2 points on the top view. We'll then blend and shell this part. We'll then extrude the L-shaped profile between these two positions. We'll Boolean union the two solids together. Then we'll blend the bottom two corners of the L shape. Finally, we'll use the cut tool to create the holes in the part. So let's work with an actual file. We'll open up KCV *3.ckd. Let's click on Tools, Options, Solids, and we'll remove these two checks. Now we'll click on Create a Horizontal Line, and using the indent option we'll place one here and place one there. Now we'll create a vertical line, and we'll place that at the end here. And now we're going to measure, verify the distance between these two entities, and we'll save that to a variable D. We'll create a line parallel at a distance. We'll type that D in there, click on the vertical line, and then to the right of it. Let's switch to view 7. We'll use our X-Form dynamic tool. Let's select this right profile, click on Accept, and using the indent option we'll click on this outer corner of the profile. We're going to right mouse click on the yellow sphere and reposition it at the intersection of these two lines. We'll now rotate the view blue vector 90 degrees and then the red vector downward 90 degrees, and we'll hit on Accept. That gets that view in position. Let's use the X-Form dynamic tool again, and we'll rotate the front view. We'll use the intersect option in order to get the intersection in the arc and the line. You see whether the line is useful there. And then we'll rotate the red vector down 90. Let's delete those lines at this point. We no longer need them. Now let's click on the extrude icon. Between two positions, 0 for the draft. We'll select all of this profile and deselect the hole in the dotted line. And using these two ends, we'll extrude it between those two positions. We'll use a constant radius blend of 0.25 to blend the bottom two corners. We know that measurement from the drawing. And now we also know the shell thickness from the drawing, so we'll use that shell thickness. And we'll select all of these surfaces on the part. And this is a fast way to do this. Now let's zoom in on this area. We're now going to do a simple extrude of this L shape. So we'll window select the entire shape, then deselect the dotted lines that represent the hole in the blend on the corner. We'll zoom back out. And again, we're going to go between two corners, this corner and this corner. See why that's so useful. Now let's use a Boolean union and add these two parts together. We'll use a constant radius blend. We know from our drawing we have to put 0.25 blends on these two bottom corners. And we'll click on Accept. Now of course we can use the cut function, forward and back. We're going to pick on the part and pick the holes are defined by those circles from the right view. Let's zoom out. We're going to do the same thing again with the cut function. This time we're going to drill through those two top holes. We'll select the solid, and then this circle is used to punch through the solid. Pretty simple. We zoom back out, we see our finished part. So let's recap. In this exercise, we converted a drawing of a Class 2 sheet metal part to a solid model. And the Class 2 part had two major extrusions. The more complicated portion was created by extruding the complex profile, blending the bottom edges, and then shelling the part. And of course the simpler small portion, which is created with a simple extrude. And prior to starting, we remove these two checks from Tools, Options, Solids, as we did in the previous 2D to 3D exercises. We created horizontal lines to measure the distance between the top and front views. That value we saved to a variable d and used to create a line parallel on the right side there. We switched to view 7. Used the X-Form Dynamic tool to reposition the right view, rotate it around and down so it lined up with the top view. And then we used the X-Form Dynamic tool to also rotate the front view down so it lined up with the top view. Then using the Between Two Positions option, we extruded the complex profile in the front view between these 2 points. We then blended and shelled this part. Then we extruded the L-shaped profile between these 2 points. We Boolean union the 2 solids together. We blended the bottom 2 corners on the L shape. And finally we used the cut tool to create the holes in the part.